Thank you very much. I really appreciate the effort you've all made to congregate in this fabulous place. My mother's family were mainly Irish, but there were some Scottish too. And according to my grandmother, one was a German Jew. So, not only am I pleased to be performing here tonight, I'm lucky to be able to at all. My name, Gareth Macready, gives away my Celtic ancestry. But it's not the name on my birth certificate. Gary Reid is. Gareth Macready is the stage name I've chosen to use. And this could confuse some of yous. So let me go through the details, even though it's not one of my most interesting tales. Our family name is Reid. A comedian once told me it sounded like an order or a command. Read! And there may be some truth to that, because I can confirm that I am a bookworm. My mother wanted to call me Gareth, but my father said he'd get Gary anyway. And my father usually got his own way. Why are the women the only ones that are laughing at that? 11 months later, though, my father nicknamed me Butch, much to the chagrin of my mother. And my little brother has never, ever called me by my real name. My father's not really to blame. His father named him Lynn, which is a traditional boy's Welsh name, a Welsh boy's name. Nodding over there, Welsh heritage, yeah. But in our mainly Anglo-Saxon culture, it's a girl's name. So my father may have been trying to compensate and make me tough. And I think it might have worked, because I do have a black belt. See? These hands are registered with the police. It's just the fingerprints, but one of my high school classmates found out my father nicknamed me Butch. And he suggested that maybe my dad didn't want a baby boy, perhaps he wanted a puppy dog instead. I punched him in the head. Anyway, since I was 11 months old, I've been told that my name was Butch Reid. A journalist once said it sounded like a lesbian book review. I was born and raised in Brisbane and amazed nearly everyone by getting into university. Supposedly to study. But while I was there, I didn't care about the curriculum. I decided to become a comedian. I think that one of my high school teachers thought that I could have been an astronaut. Isn't that cool? What he said was I took up space in school. In 1987, on December 7, I met a Japanese girl who totally spun me out. She asked me out. I was stoked to have my ego stroked, and in 1989 I married that fine little lady. I took her parents to meet my parents, who were living in a big flat beside the Brisbane River. My mother-in-law, when she first saw the flat, said, "This is very big." I couldn't bear to tell her we were still in the elevator. After the birth of our second son, my wife wanted to run back home to the land of the rising sun, but I didn't think that would be too much fun. But I had to, so that our family could stay together, even though I wasn't sure whether it would work. We come from completely different backgrounds. Her father's a Buddhist, my father's a nudist. With the passage of years, all of my fears turned into reality in the finality of divorce, of course. So now I've walked away and I say, she never loved me. She just lusted after my body. I didn't realise it back then, but the older I get, the better looking I used to be. This was the body that men feared and women lusted after. But that was 30 kilos ago. I no longer hold her in my arms. She no longer falls for my charms. I should have listened more when I heard my aunt explain that chocolate produced in the brain the same hormone as the one that's produced when you're in love. Must be true, because whenever I eat too much chocolate, I get a headache. For over 2 decades, I paid for my children's education, clothing, housing and food by putting Japanese people into a good mood. And for my efforts, would you believe, I eventually received the key to the city of Osaka. I was actually in shock because the man from the council said it was for use only after 5 o'clock. You young folks should realise before your dad dies that by your dad doing dad jokes, he was making you understand that sometimes words have more than one meaning. It's important. When your lady says fine, doesn't necessarily mean that everything is fine. Apparently. If she says, do whatever you want to do, apparently doing what you want to do is the wrong thing to do. I found them out the hard way. Some of you may have heard about the Japanese poetic form called haiku. 3 lines, 5 syllables in the first, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Although I'm prepared to bet that hardly any of you have heard of senryu. They're not quite the same, and haiku has more fame, but they both go 5, 7, 5. And some people mix them up. Haiku has seasonal references. That's an important point. Haiku has seasonal references. This one is haiku. Red ochre leaves fall. A pretty girl in a shawl smiles as she passes. You can almost feel the emotion of a divorced, middle-aged man sitting all alone on the park. Too much information? Okay, fine. All right. These next few are senryu. As you age and grow, you begin to realise, don't go, commando. Pure poetry. I saw a pigeon poop on another pigeon. My poems are dark, is what someone said to me. I stabbed him to death. I was challenged once to write a story in less than 50 words. I took the challenge. Moving down, I gently touch an eyelash. Moving on, I caress her cheek, her shoulder, and onto her breast, and still further down until I hit the ground. Thus is the death of an eyebrow hair. It's a PG-rated show. There's nothing quite so boring as lying beside someone snoring. The rafters are shaking with the sounds that they're making. Sleep is the last thing you can do. You think about going and getting some glue so you can hold the nostrils closed of the person beside you who's dozed. You're in a sleep-deprived state, so you tell yourself to wait while you think of a solution. You remember something someone said about how a snoring person's head has to be on its side, so that that little tiny piece of fat that's flapping at the back of the nostrils, that's making you want sleeping pills, will stop its flipping flapping, so that you can start your napping. You try to lift this little lady's shoulder, it's like a flipping boulder. You wish you'd kept up at the gym. You're glad she's the her and you're the him. Finally, you get the job done. It feels like you've done a 10-mile run. It's just then that you realise she's got the blanket between her thighs. So yeah, lessons learned in love are lessons learned by losing. I am a genius. Marry someone you can communicate well with. Otherwise, it's going to be someone you're going to go to hell with. When I first met the woman who was to become my ex-wife, I still had a life. No, I mean, I still had a daytime job. I'd worked for a demolition company, but I didn't work there very long. They got really upset with me whenever I got an address wrong. Clerical accuracy, ladies and gentlemen. Clerical accuracy, an important skill in some positions. Not exactly a position necessarily related to this one here. I got on a youth employment scheme at one stage, working for the team at Central Railway. And they let me work on the loudspeaker system so I could work on my microphone technique. I used to say silly things like, "Would the people taking the train from platform 17 please put it back?" And things like, "The train arriving on platforms 5, 6 and 7 is coming in sideways." Australia is very different from the place I left. Lawn bowls is now a televised sport. When did that happen and why? My granddad used to play lawn bowls. He was really old. He was a geriatric. So was everybody else. Now there's these young blokes, 20s and 30s, in sponsored sporting outfits with pot bellies acting like athletes. They've got these odd-shaped brown balls which they roll ever so slowly down a lawn. And the camera follows this ball and it zooms in on a close-up as the big black oblong-shaped ball falls over 6 or 7 centimetres from a spherical white one. And then the commentator has the hide to say, "We're going to show you that again." Really? What did we miss? Gambling was illegal when I was a kid, but now it's advertised on TV. Admittedly, they say, "Gamble responsibly." And alcohol ads now also say, "Drink responsibly." But I've never, since I've been back, ever heard anyone say, "You should think responsibly." Now I'm going to demonstrate some of the stuff I made a living doing in Japan for 23 years. So this is where I have to bring in that music again. Would you like to see some magic? Say yeah! Yeah! Okay. Would you like to see a little Japanese black magic? Say yeah! Yeah! Okay. That's close joke using a prop. They're an important part of your education, young man. Alright? So, for the kiddies, all of the pages are completely blank, much like the state of my mind. Take this as a magic wand, we'll say the Japanese magic word, chichin poi poi, and suddenly you see sheer unadulterated talent. Would you like to see some more magic? Say yeah! This is the level of the humour, ladies and gentlemen. Keep up. Magic wands, English word abracadabra, and suddenly I add some colour to your life. up in the black and white era and I moved into the colour era, so that's important. Okay, alright. Two completely unassuming silk handkerchiefs would be really great to have. These are polyester. See, the performer's laughing because he knows how much silk handkerchiefs cost. Are they handkerchiefs or handkerchiefs? I forgot. Handkerchiefs? Roofs? I don't know. Anyway, so I get these two handkerchiefs and I tie the corners into a knot and I wonder whether I get this right or not. That's for me, that one. Oh, hang on. Oh, it's a plastic cup. Alright. What am I going to do? Completely empty brown paper bag. Brand new. Completely empty beer bottle. I don't need anyone to check whether it's empty. I made sure of that before the show. Hope you don't understand that joke. So you can see proper, well, it's a Japanese beer bottle. So the magic word and it will disappear from inside here. Abracadabra, and the bottle has gone. Now I sense a modicum of doubt. How many people would like to find out if the bottle did disappear from inside here? Say yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll just check for you. Yep. I can verify that as a fact. Now, I must admit that that's the easy bit. The hard part in any of magical art is to make a disappeared item reappear. Abracadabra, and suddenly you reset. There's another way to do that trick. There's another way to do that trick. Teaching you here how to do magic in two separate ways. Ready? Now, don't say the magic word at all. What you do is snap your fingers, and suddenly the bottle has disappeared. Nobody ever believes me when I do that. First of all, I, as you can see, am demonstrating two balls in one hand. Some of the ladies may already understand. By the way, I am available for children's parties. There's another way to do two balls in one hand, like this. And now, I will introduce the third ball into the juggling pattern, like this. That's an easy trick, ladies and gentlemen, a really hard, very difficult trick to accomplish. Sideways. Right, they'll get harder and harder. Watch. Around the world. And now I'm actually going to incorporate the third ball into the juggling pattern in a very difficult trick, which I haven't practiced in 6 months' time. I've been working a day job for the last 6 months and I haven't actually practiced any of these tricks. Here we go. Quick clap before I drop them. Alright. This is called juggling. In English we call this juggling, but in Japan they don't call it juggling, they call it otedama, and they don't do it like this, they do it like this. This is called otedama, this is juggling. A person who can juggle is called a juggler. A person who can do otedama is called a person who can do otedama. I wrote that joke. Works in Japanese too. I love that joke. 1 up, 2 up is an extremely difficult trick. So difficult, in fact, that Most audiences are so stunned they forget to applaud. Alright, so I'm going to chop my own arm off. But welcome to Ipswich. Very fond memories of coming here when I was a kid, anyway. So, as I said, I'm going to chop my own arm off, but before I do that, I'd like to demonstrate some cigar box juggling. Need a bit of space. So I learned to do these tricks while I was in Japan. And the first trick I learned to do with these cigar boxes was that one. The second trick I learned was that one. Wait, look. Reverse as well. Yeah. Wait. Left-handed too. You know, since I've been back, I keep trying to remember the word ambidextrous because I'm ambidextrous, but for some reason every time I try to say it, I end up saying bisexual, and I go, wait. I have no idea what's wrong with my English language. So anyway, we'll incorporate quite a few tricks, and every time I get to a point where I want you to burst into spontaneous applause, I'll do this. That will be your cue. Okay? Here we go. Oh yeah, you can do woos anytime you want. Really skills. That's right. You know, did that deliberately. So I can show you this. 1, 2, 3. I got 1,000 job lines. Double overhead lateral cross. Pirouette finish. Chop my own arm off. But before I do that, I'll demonstrate the trick that was the, I suppose, latest trick I learned in Japan. This is the one with the least amount of personal history involved in it. And it's a very old trick, but it's a new trick to me, honestly. I learned quite a lot of magic while I was in Japan. I was able to learn quite a few tricks from a very famous magician called Lance Burton. If you spend as much time watching YouTube videos as me, you can learn whatever you really want to, actually. So I'll just dump that in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the glasses with the tubes so that you won't be able to see the glass or the bottle, and the bottle will change places with glass. Okay? So, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the bottle. No, wait. Like I said, this is the trick with the least personal history. Sam, if you're going to learn magic tricks, if you're going to do tricks with bottles, point of education for you, make sure you've got spares around because they're quite breakable. Okay? Alright, so I cover the bottle and the glass, snap my fingers, and the bottle has shifted from here to here, and the glass has shifted from here to here. Just check that's occurred to make sure. Yep, glass is over here, and the bottle. I know what some of you are thinking, that I did that same joke with the other bottle trick, and this is educating Sam on the importance of recycling, okay? And the really hard part of this trick is to accomplish it. By snapping your fingers, and you see that the bottle has now appeared over here. I can do this as many times as I want, and just go backwards and forwards. Now I can do this with only one if I want to. I've got no problems with doing this. I can do this all day long if I want to, mainly because I've got a spare bottle here. Now, just to make sure for the people who are cynics in the audience, I will make sure that you can tell that it is the same bottle. I'll mark it with that, and you can see that it is the same bottle as that one. Like I said, I can do this trick many times as I want because I've got spare bottles. Got to have a lot of bottles to do this trick. Oh, I don't suppose anyone read what was going to happen there. Read what was going to happen. Okay, so I'll just get rid of this one because I think people appreciate black humour more than being a I mean, I know that most of the tricks that I'm doing here aren't really black and white at all. They're just sort of like magic tricks that you go, oh wow, that was interesting. I should give him a big round of applause for that. So, now, Sam, I asked you earlier if you would be kind enough to help me out with the show, and you kind of agreed at that time, and I'm wondering now, I've been up here for a while and you may have changed your mind seeing the way I've been operating, but let's just check. Would you like to help me out with the next part of the show? Is that all right? Would you give Sam a big round of applause here? Very brave. Come on up, Sam. So Sam, what do you do for a living, mate? Mate, you're a bloke. You're going to have to get a job. That's all there is to it. Alright? Japanese women seem to think that's the case, and I'm a bit sick and tired of it, but anyway, that's just me, and that's an education for you. Alright, so I suppose I might just go on to the next one and stop that there. Now, what I'm going to do, Sam, is I'm going to check whether you are actually capable of becoming my magic assistant. First of all, I'll get you to stand here, face the front. Very good in your hoodie there, mate. Be tough. It's important to be tough, right? Because you're a bloke. Whenever anyone talks to you about gender equality, you tell them to go and get rack off. Nothing. Sorry, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. Smiley face ball. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is one of two things. I'm either going to secrete the ball in that hand and pretend that they're both the same, or I'm going to pretend to secrete it in that one and actually secrete it in this one, and you have to guess which one. You got that? Right, face the front. Face the front. It doesn't mean walk sideways. I'm the one with the trouble with English. Why are you having trouble with it? So I'm either going to hide it in there, or I'm going to pretend to hide it in there, and you have to guess which one. Okay? You right with that? Cool. Now, some of you may already know this trick. Some of you may figure it out. But it's up to him to figure it out, so I don't want anyone telling him, all right? You cool with that? You down? All right. So it's either in here or it's in here, okay? 1, 2, 3. Which one? Sorry? Wrong. Let's try it with a bigger one to see if we can get you to understand this one better. Right now, I'm either going to hide this in here, or shut up. You don't take direction very well, do you? You can't be in my theatre group, okay? He's doing all right. Shut up. Leave him alone. Don't let him hit on you, okay? We say no to bullying, okay? And if you get bullied, the appropriate response is to punch them in the head. It works! Alright, now Sam, face in front, alright? None of this cheating, alright? You've got to find out if you can figure out if it's in there, or if I've tricked you and put it in here, okay? You have to choose. Alright, ready? 1, 2. Okay, which one? Choose. Sorry? Okay, I'll tell you what, Sam, we'll make it really easy for you. I'm either going to secrete it in this hand, or I'm just going to pretend to secrete it over here, and actually it's going to be hiding in here. You have to figure out which one, okay? 1, 2. Okay, which one is it? You figured it out. You figured it out. Okay, high five. All right. We'll give him a big round of applause for helping out. Good on you. Talk to you later. I'm going to chop my own arm off. If you'd like to see me chop my arm off on the count of 3, I want everybody saying, do it, do it, do it. 1, 2, 3. You guys are a bunch of sick puppies. I kind of like that in the crowd. You, sir, what was your name? Dean? Good. Now, Dean, just want to ask you one question. Do you honestly want to see me chop an arm off? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to chop one of Dean's arms off now. Joke, Dean. Joke. Joke. It's part of my job. Alright. Here we go. Bye bye, Dean. I love you. Inappropriate laughter like that. Oh, bugger. It's only gone halfway through. It's got stuck on the bone. I'm going to have to hack it off now. Wait. No, it's all right. I brought a machete. Do it with a machete, that'll do. Oh, there you go. That's got it. There it is. Not real. But you got to hand it to me. That was good. Oh. So rubber glove. I used to do this trick with a ribbed condom. I used to like them inside out because I'm selfish. Parental guidance. I might actually get in trouble for that joke. He's not. I can't see whether that's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I took my glasses off halfway through the show. It's okay, apparently. Good. Got away with it. Because they're all my friends anyway. None of your friends are here. No, there is. There's actually 3, isn't there? Thank you very much. Okay, so the rubber glove. A quick impression of a chicken. A quick impression of a cow's udder. Love me tender, love me true, never let me go. My darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Not everywhere. The things you do to pay for your children's education. Jesus, big, isn't it? Dean, yes, it's your turn. Club number 1. Good eye. Club number 2. That's number 3. Right. Stand back and grab hold of the rope. I'm going to ask you to pass that to me now. Don't fall! Don't fall! Don't fall! And then give Ben a big round of applause for that one. Make sure you fill in a form and get yourself a DVD sent to you for about Christmas time. I suppose that's when it'll be finished. I've been doing this for 23 years. Still a bad I've put on 30 kilos over the last 23 years and I'm a bit worried that the plank might break again. So I've just missed my cue. That's why I want someone on the sound system to do this properly. But anyway, so we're going to go into the sad music now for goodbyes. Could have been so good to get this on that music. So anyway, yes, I can. Positive mental image picture of success, not just mental image. 1, 2, 2.5. I can do this, I've done it before. Actually, I haven't. I saw it on TV a couple of times. That's not true. It was YouTube. No, I actually can do it. I have done it before. Just haven't practiced for a really long time. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my show. I do hope you've enjoyed it.